When my childhood sweetheart confessed to me. Bullet comments appeared before my eyes. The male lead has been reborn. And this time he actually chose to avoid the female lead and be with his childhood sweetheart. Can't blame him. Their past life was so bitter. The childhood sweetheart is pure and well-behaved, and has had a crush on the male lead for so many years. Why not go for it? But why does this feel so off? I remember in my previous life. This was exactly when those hooligans showed up to humiliate the female lead. Oh my god. Is the male lead trying to have his childhood friend take the female lead's place in being humiliated? After all, in his past life, he really cared about the female lead not being pure. A chill ran down my spine as I looked up at my childhood friend and asked, "Do we really have to take this alley?" At this moment, I hold my breath, trying to hear Lewis give a different answer. But no, he held my hand and walked faster and faster, as if in a hurry, and to my question, he only said one word. Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. With that, he tightly grabbed my sleeve and pulled me deeper into the alley. Suddenly, the tears in my eyes began to flow uncontrollably. I said, "Lewis, you know I've liked you for a long time, right?" Lewis didn't want to chat with me. He just wanted to quickly hand me over to those thugs. But to placate me, he still gave perfunctory answers to my questions. "Of course I know you like me. Didn't I confess to you? I like you too." Then he suddenly said something inexplicable. "We'll go to the same university in the future. We'll get married and have 3 children later. The eldest is called Tom. The second is a daughter named Ruby. And the youngest loves to act spoiled. So we call her Sarah." Unfortunately, Tom had a hard life. Born with a heart condition. Ruby wasn't very fortunate either. She was in a car accident at the age of 13. Sarah was the most well-behaved but suffered the most, having to bid farewell to her older brother and sister, and then her parents. Oh, how fickle fate is. Then, he snapped out of it and pulled my sleeve, walking even faster, not forgetting to urge me, "Hurry up. We're almost out of time." I let out a bitter laugh and muttered, "The grandma selling mochi doesn't come home until 9 p.m. And it's only 3 p.m. now. How could it be too late? Do you have other plans?" Lewis nodded. "Yes. I've prepared some other surprises for you." I let out a heavy sigh, forcefully shook off his hand, and resisted with reddened eyes. "Lewis, I want to go home." His expression instantly changed upon hearing this. After a moment's thought, he pointed toward the end of the alley. "This road also leads home." Lewis seems determined to deliver me into the hands of those people. Meanwhile, the barrage of comments before my eyes began to buzz with diverse opinions. The male lead is quite bad, though I really ship him with the female lead. Treating his childhood friend like this isn't great. The male lead just wants to make up for his regrets towards the female lead from his past life. What's wrong with that? Person above. Stop trying so hard to seek attention. Because of this incident in her past life, the female lead became depressed and almost jumped off a building. Does the person above really want to see history repeat itself? But, the childhood friend is quite innocent. The barrage comments erupted into an argument. While I was too focused on the barrage of comments, I didn't realize Lewis had already pulled me deep into the alley. A group of boys with dyed yellow hair were there, sizing me up while smoking cigarettes. Terrified, I hid behind Lewis, but as if on purpose. Lewis pulled me from behind to his right side and then declared righteously, "Move aside. We're going home." Those punks laughed at us, flicking their cigarette ashes onto us. My arm got burned. Lewis just gave it a casual glance and pretended to show some concern. Then, he deliberately provoked those punks. I said, "Move aside. Can't you understand human language? Do you want a beating?" The yellow-haired leader got impatient, stood up abruptly, and jumped right in front of us. "Lewis, you're too arrogant. Today we're deliberately blocking you." "Heh, is this your little girlfriend? She's not much to look at, is she? Can't compare to the one earlier. What a knockout figure. And she even came over on her own." As soon as these words were spoken, Lewis was instantly stunned. He directly grabbed the blonde guy by the collar and demanded, "What do you mean? Which one just now? Speak clearly." The blonde guy puffed his cheeks and spat right onto Lewis's face. "Who the hell do you think you're messing with? All right, boys. Since we're all fed and drunk, let's beat this punk to a pulp." Even if we end up at the police station, we won't be the ones losing out. Then, a group of people started fighting. They fought fiercely, probably forgetting my existence, and I narrowly escaped. But at that moment, bullet comments appeared before my eyes again. The female lead is also reborn. In her past life, the male lead saved her and got a scar on his back while fighting with thugs. The female lead must have deliberately lured the male lead away to face these thugs alone because she didn't want him to get hurt. But she didn't expect the male lead to be reborn too. My poor star-crossed lovers. The female lead must be so scared all alone right now. Male lead, stop fighting and go save our female lead already. This childhood friend is really something. The thugs already said they've hurt someone. Yet she remains completely indifferent. Truly a cannon fodder character. Utterly useless. In her past life, she even refused to marry for Louis's sake. While others were surrounded by children and grandchildren, she was alone clutching Louis's photo and crying. Pfft. Who's she trying to impress with this act of devotion? If she's so capable, why not take a knife for the male lead now? Then he'd definitely never forget her. I understood the Danmaku explanations. Louis and his female lead were both reborn, both unrecognized by each other, yet silently dedicating themselves to one another. As the bullet comments said, they truly are star-crossed lovers, since in our past lives, I was merely a cannon fodder character in their story. Then this time, I'll just continue playing my role as cannon fodder as usual. The only difference is, I won't like Louis for many years anymore. The comments say I'll end up alone for Louis. Ha! Not anymore. Not this time. Louis and I grew up together. He's always been first in everything since childhood. First in the kindergarten origami contest. First in all primary school subjects, literature, math, English, and first in every subject in middle school too. Naturally, the same held true in high school. As his childhood friend, I certainly wouldn't be far behind him. Under his influence, I came second in the kindergarten origami competition, ranked second in primary school for literature, math, and English, and closely followed in junior high. But in high school, the rankings changed. Someone surpassed me, but couldn't catch up to Louis. She stood between us, and I became the third. Many say childhood sweethearts can't compare to sudden encounters. From what I see now, indeed they can't. I can't compare to Shirley, neither in past lives nor this one. I can never measure up to Shirley. But before Shirley appeared, Louis wasn't like this. He used to love it when I chased after him asking questions. And he often saved his milk for me to drink. He even said, "Tiffany, let's go to the same university together." But how come Shirley changed everything after she appeared? He even pushed me into the wolf's den. Shirley's sake. Has he forgotten that it was me who grew up with him? Heh, right. After all, I only accompanied him as he grew up. Shirley and he, however, walked together for a lifetime, past lives and present. I'm even less of a match. Louis hasn't come to school for a week. Sitting in the front row, Shirley was also absent. As the top two students, they never took leave. But this time, they skipped class together. The classmates began speculating about their relationship. Naturally, I became the topic of everyone's discussion, pretending not to care. I quietly worked on my test paper, until my deskmate walked over, poked my shoulder with a finger, and asked with a gossipy look, "Hey, little deskmate, yesterday, Louis confessed to you in front of the whole school under the red flag. How come you took leave with Shirley today? What's really going on between you three? Who's actually the third wheel? Come on, tell me about it. Haha, is it Louis using you as a pawn to piss off Shirley? TSK. This guy's no good. Why not come with me instead? I promise to treat you right. Whatever I earn in the future, I'll spend it all on you. Ha ha ha." I stayed silent, utterly annoyed. Marius kept teasing me about it. I couldn't stand his nagging anymore, so I clicked my tongue and rolled my eyes at him. But he was being such a brat. Probably hadn't gotten enough beatings at home and came to school looking for more. Seeing that I was annoyed, he still kept acting shamelessly around me, circling me and yapping non-stop. "What's wrong now? My princess, why are you ignoring me again? Tiffany, Naya. Tiffany, say something. Wah. Tiffany, pay attention to me. Tiffany sweetie, pay some attention to Marius already. Don't just have eyes for Louis. Remember Marius is here as your backup." I couldn't take it anymore. Crumpled the test paper into a ball and stuffed it into his school uniform jacket. Marius was satisfied, ran off to carefully unfold the paper for me, and instantly became well-behaved. But I couldn't write another word with all his commotion. So, I put down my pen and walked out of the classroom. But as soon as I left the classroom, Louis forced me back in. His eyes were fierce, and the bandages covering his shoulders and back suggested serious injuries. I don't want to have any interaction with him. I just want to avoid it. But obviously, Louis was coming for me. He cornered me, pressing his palm against the wall beside my ear, and said fiercely, "Tiffany, you like me, don't you? Why did you run away that afternoon?" Trembling with fear, I didn't dare mention being able to see the bullet comments, only saying, "It was too late. I had to go home. I was scared." As soon as these words were spoken, Louis instantly laughed. A chilling laughter. "Going home. You follow me until midnight every day without fear. Why were you scared that day? Do you have any idea? Just because you ran away. Jew." He left the sentence unfinished, glancing at his classmates as if hesitating to continue. Then, through gritted teeth, he added, "Forget it. What's done is done. I won't blame you. Hand it over." I looked puzzled. "What?" Louis frowned with his handsome eyebrows. "Your notes. I missed a whole week of classes. Aren't you going to share your notes with me?" I paused for a moment, and suddenly bullet comments appeared before my eyes. In the male lead's past life, when he took a week off, it was his childhood friend who provided the notes. If not for her notes, his position as the top student in school would have been taken by someone else. How strange. Why isn't the childhood friend giving the male lead her notes this time? Could she actually be angry? What does she have to be angry about? The female lead has already gone through 2 deflowerings, and she's not even angry. Truly, not just anyone can be the female lead. I chuckled. So it was just notes. If not for what happened last week, I might have really taken Louis' notes. After all, I've had a crush on him for so many years. Finally getting a chance to show my affection. How could I possibly pass it up? But that incident did happen. Louis wanted me to replace the girl he liked and be humiliated. No one would continue to like him after that. Right. Taking notes. Keep dreaming. I shook my head. She said with calm eyes, "Why should I take notes for you?" As soon as these words were spoken, the entire class was shocked, especially my deskmate Marius. He foolishly stood on the table holding his coat sleeves, using himself as a fan, tiptoeing and spinning in circles. He even shouted, "Oh my God, the sky is falling. Our little Tiffany is fighting back." Because of his antics, everyone's attention turned towards him. Louis's expression grew even darker. He whispered as he leaned closer to me, "Tiffany, I just confessed to you yesterday, and this is the face you're giving me now. Don't you like me? What are you trying to do with this attitude now?" I said, "I don't like you anymore. You think you can just stop liking me like that?" Louis nearly roared, his voice shattering the silence of the entire classroom. And the next second, Shirley appeared at the classroom door. Her face was sunken, her expression dejected, and her body seemed to have lost over 10 pounds. In short, she didn't look well at all. Louis couldn't hide the heartache in his eyes, but he still pretended not to know Shirley. Instead, draping his arm over my shoulder, right in front of Shirley, he deliberately flirted with me. "Tiffany, stop messing around. I didn't mean to yell at you. I'm sorry. Come on. Since you didn't take notes, how about you explain the problem to me yourself?" I really didn't want to deal with him, but I couldn't break free. So, helpless, I turned to my deskmate, Marius. He cheekily extended 3 fingers, threatening with his lips. "Help me with 3 days of duty." I nodded. Then the next second, Louis had a big mouthful of spit spat on his face. "Hey, kid, go hug your own girl. Let her go." I was utterly embarrassed. He was so cringy, just as cringy as his name. I begged him not to say the next line, but he still said it. Unbearably cringy. "Tiffany is my girl. Asterisk burp. Asterisk." He finished with a burp that smelled of leek stuffed buns. I sighed, and bullet comments appeared before my eyes again. LMAO. How come I don't remember Marius before? Why is he so unhinged? Damn. He's the only comic relief in this angst fest. I remember Marius later became a big entrepreneur. Right. At the class reunion, He even shielded Tiffany from drinking. Yeah, exactly. A big entrepreneur. He definitely had a crush on Tiffany. During evening self-study, I stepped out to use the restroom. Then, I accidentally overheard a conversation in the boys' restroom next door. Shirley, what were you doing in that alley? Instead of hurrying home after school to take care of your grandmother, why did you go to that alley? Lewis was nearly breaking down, while Shirley's voice remained incredibly calm. What about you? Why did you go to that alley? You clearly know. She hesitated. Lewis pressed in shock. Know what? Say it. Shirley. Know what? I peeked through the door crack. Shirley's eyes were already red, her fingers gently caressing Lewis's back. Does it hurt? In an instant, Lewis also teared up, choking out his words. Shirley, what am I going to do with you? Oh, what a pitiful pair of lovebirds. What to do? What to do? You two get out quickly. Let me handle the important business. Can't even take a shit in peace. What kind of Cheongya drama are you acting out? Ziwei and Erkong. Ridiculous. Marius ranted so much that I burst out laughing outside the men's restroom. Lewis snapped. Who's out there? I got scared and immediately hid back in the women's restroom. But the next second, Shirley dragged Lewis into the women's restroom to make room for Marius. Then continue to pour out the grievances. Lewis, I was also reborn after that car accident. Although I was very happy being with you in my previous life, I really don't want to anymore. There's been too much suffering between the two of us. Can we pretend not to love each other this time again? Give Tiffany a chance. If you two work out, I'll be happy for you. She doesn't want it. She has me. Marius shouted from next door. I covered my mouth to stifle a laugh and kept eavesdropping. At that moment, the barrage of comments appeared again. Ha ha ha. Marius is so hilarious. Who created this little guy? I can't even focus on the plot anymore. He's all I can think about. Though it's funny, you still need to focus on the main story. I'm in so much pain. My dear boy and girl. Why is life still so hard even in this second chance? Lewis, don't listen to her. Can't you try harder and keep pursuing her? Lewis can only end up with Shirley. The college entrance exam is coming up soon. I wonder if they'll apply to the same school this time. Sigh. If the male lead dodges the female lead and goes to University A with his childhood friend instead, it's over. Such a terrible school. How could it ever be worthy of him? In their past life, the male lead lied to his childhood friend, saying he'd go to University A. The poor girl was so naive she skipped 3 major questions on the exam, but she never realized he was deliberately pushing her away so he could attend the same school as the female lead. This time, it's probably hopeless since both leads are avoiding each other. What a pity. In their past life, the male and female leads were at the same school. Those 4 years of campus romance were beautiful, which is why their love grew deeper over time. But if they're not at the same school now, they'll probably find new loves and go their separate ways. I remembered asking Lewis which school he was going to. At the time, he really disliked me. He just said one thing, University A, and then he left. At the time, I was still puzzled. Why would someone who could have gotten into a university in Beijing choose to enroll in an obscure local college? Only now do I realize it was to avoid me. Ha! The comments even say that in my past life, I skipped 3 major exam questions for Lewis and ended up at University A. Indeed, if this incident hadn't occurred, I might have remained foolishly unaware. Now that I've come to my senses, it's time to start thinking about my future. Lewis has really started pursuing me. Get me some hot water. Help me with the cleaning duty. Escort me home. The whole class was utterly shocked. Only Marius wore a gloomy face every day. Seeing the hot water in my cup, they poured it out. Seeing Lewis helping me with duty, they deliberately cracked melon seeds, following Lewis as he walked me home. Then the next day, they came with dark circles under their eyes to mock me. Overjoyed, aren't you? Finally got together with the one you like. Huh, TCH. I couldn't be bothered to deal with him. He's always full of hot air. Naturally, I couldn't be bothered to deal with Lewis either. Every time he fetches hot water for me, he deliberately detours past Shirley's spot. While helping with the duty, it turned out the other person on duty was Shirley. When taking me home, it's convenient to secretly follow Shirley back as it's on the way. The two of them pretended not to know each other well in class, but as soon as no one was around, they would hug and cry together. Even the barrage comments couldn't stand it anymore. They all urged me to transfer schools so as not to hinder the romantic spark between the two of them. And after such things had been going on for half a month, I finally couldn't take it anymore and asked my mom to transfer schools. My mom was somewhat surprised. "Don't you like the neighbor's Lewis? Him sticking to you is a good thing. Why are you avoiding him?" Unable to explain clearly, I just said, "My main task now is to study hard, and I'll start dating when I'm in college." My mom praised me for being sensible, and within a few days, she completed the transfer procedures for me. And on the second day after my transfer, Marius and Lewis approached me one after another. The first one to come to my house was Marius, who brought 2 big bags of my favorite snacks and started crying as soon as he entered. My mom was terrified and quickly brought juice to offer him. "Come in and sit down, young man. I didn't realize you were this close with our Tiffany. Do you like her?" To be honest, I didn't expect my mom to be so straightforward. Her words completely stunned me. Meanwhile, Marius also froze in place. Only the face showed subtle changes. My mom instantly understood and brought ice to apply to his face. Then she said, "Little classmate, I'm really sorry. We Tiffany have someone we like. It's okay. I can be the other woman," he said shamelessly, making my mom burst into laughter. Then she pointed at him and told me, "This young man is better than the one from the Shin family." But she still persuaded Marius to back off. "Little classmate, focus on your studies first. Our Tiffany doesn't like underachieving homewreckers." My mom knew that in our class, high-performing students were paired with low-performing ones as desk mates. Since I had good grades, that meant Marius was the underachiever. So, in a way, she was also persuading Marius to study hard through another method. Marius heard this and his wild enthusiasm flared up again. He stood up and shouted, "I will definitely become a top student." After making this vow, he left. My mom couldn't stop smiling. Just a few minutes after Marius left, Lewis came over. "Tiffany, why are you avoiding me?" Lewis looked a bit like his middle school self at that moment. After realizing I had feelings for him, I deliberately avoided him to suppress my emotions. I stopped going to school with him and refused to play games together. He got angry and climbed over from the next balcony to confront me. His tone was just like now, even carrying a hint of grievance. But I can never be as soft-hearted as I was back then. I will never forget the expression on his face as he held my hand and walked down that alley. The sunlight was so warm, yet that alley exuded a dark and gloomy aura. And he, with a cold expression, pulled me step by step toward the abyss. He doesn't understand how scared I am, nor does he care whether I would choose to end my life like Shirley after being defiled. He only wants his female lead to live this life well. "Speak up. Why are you avoiding me? Don't you like me? I confessed to you, and we're even going to the same university. Why are you still avoiding me?" "Tiffany, what exactly do you want?" I said. "Are you saying you like me by confessing to me?" Lewis froze. A guilty expression was evident on his face. Then he stammered, "No, or what?" I sneered, no longer willing to humor him. I just made up an excuse, saying I had fallen for someone else, and then pushed him out the door. Lewis left, and bullet comments appeared before my eyes again. The childhood sweetheart is quite good at playing hard to get, deliberately keeping the male lead on edge to leave a lasting impression. Right. Too bad the male lead is only chasing you to cross paths with the female lead, not because he genuinely likes you. If I remember correctly, today happens to be the female lead's birthday. In their past life, the male lead never missed her birthday, even if they're pretending not to love each other this time around. I bet the male lead will still secretly celebrate her birthday, and then they'll quietly get intimate and enjoy the fruits of their reunion. However, the female lead has trauma about this because when the male lead touched her last time, she stabbed him. I wonder if she'll stab him again this time. Can't wait to see. Late at night, the barrage comments appeared again. Hee, I told you. People in love can't resist the inner heat. The fruit eaten in this lifetime is even sweeter than the last. Truly. The more torment, the sweeter the fruit. Yeah, I saw the male lead finish a whole box and still wanted to continue. Ah, what? They didn't use protection. And no, that's not good. They're still high school students. The male lead is quite strong though. Last lifetime, the female lead bore him 3 children, and they loved their eldest son the most. If she gets pregnant now, I wonder if she'll give birth to their first child again. I was so agitated by the barrage of comments that I went to the fridge to grab 2 bottles of water to calm myself down. But I couldn't fall back asleep, so I had to get up and study. The transfer procedures were completed very quickly. It took about a week or so. I had already found myself sitting in a classroom at another school, except that every day after school, I felt like someone was following me. From the barrage comments, I learned it was Marius who couldn't bear to part with me, so he secretly watched me every day. Besides Marius, there was also Louis following me every day. Bullet comments say, the male lead, in order to forget the female lead, forces himself to like his childhood friend every day, even starts studying her preferences, protects her on her way to and from class, secretly helps her feed stray dogs, and fills his diary with love letters for her. Sigh. Seems like in this lifetime, the male lead is really going to miss out on the female lead. Humph. Who would have thought the childhood friend would get the better end of the deal? Agree with the comment above. The male lead even changed his school to University A on purpose, deliberately not attending the same university as the female lead. It's really pitiful. And that childhood friend, despite the male lead treating her so well, she doesn't even give him a kind look in return. She's really taking his affection for granted. Huh. TSK. How shameless. Oh, for the barrage of insults directed at me, I have only one indifferent word in response. After all, I'm currently disheveled, with enough oil on my face to stir-fry a plate of mapo tofu. My mind is filled with various problems and a tangled mess of English words. I don't have the energy to care about who's the male lead or supporting female character. Since I'm not planning to apply for University A, I need to work even harder to get into a better school. The comments also said that in my past life, after graduating from University A, I couldn't find a job and ended up working at a nail salon for 2,000 yuan a month for the rest of my life. In the end, I was still holding a nail file when I was about to die. Just a lonely, pitiful, helpless little old lady. The mere thought of that scene makes my heart ache. How could I, once the third-ranked student in the entire school, let my life spiral into such a state because of a man's casual remark? He and his leading lady soared together to the big city, him starting a business, her bearing children. As for how I was doing, they couldn't have cared less. Humph. How hateful. Just before the college entrance exams, 2 schools organized a pledge rally for their senior students. When we got to the playground, Marius ran over to me holding several test papers. Then he boasted, "Hey deskmate, look, I'm now ranked 49th in the whole school. Nah. I'll surpass you soon enough. I'm not some underachieving third wheel. My grades are actually really good. When I get into a top university later, become a big boss, and make lots of money, I'll spend it all on you." Okay, little deskmate. Seeing that I ignored him, he continued to circle around me. Hey, little deskmate, why are you ignoring me again? It's been so long since we last saw each other. Can you say something? Squeak. Tiffany. Finally, he seemed to get angry, pouting and glaring at me with a dark expression. I glared back at him. He immediately backed down, not daring to say another word. Instead, when the principal called his name, he threw the test papers in his hand at me all at once and ran to the flagpole. I looked at the one at the very front, Marius, who wore a smug expression, shaking his head like the Monkey King. Standing behind him were also Louis and Shirley. I heard that besides boosting the morale of the senior high school students, this assembly was also an awards ceremony. Marius has shown significant improvement in his grades, which certainly deserves the highest encouragement. As for Louis and Shirley, they ranked first and second in the entire school. At every major assembly before, they were either hosting or being praised. I suppose it'll be the same this time. I didn't pay much attention, putting on my headphones to continue memorizing vocabulary, until the homeroom teacher pulled off my headphones. Tiffany, study when it's time to study, and relax when it's time to relax. Learn from Marius, that kid. Not only does he improve his grades quickly, but he also wins first place in the sports meet and singing competition. You're just too tense. That's why your grades aren't improving noticeably. I let out an "oh," and took off my headphones. Then I heard Marius's thank you speech. Ah, me. The people I'm most grateful to are my mom and dad, grandma, grandpa and grandma on my mom's side, and my aunt's youngest son. The principal angrily smacked the back of his head. Be serious. Scolded by the principal, Marius gave a silly grin, then instantly turned serious. Ahem. Aside from my family, the person I'm most grateful for is my one and only deskmate, Tiffany. It's a shame she transferred schools, but no matter. I'll always keep the seat beside me reserved for her. She's the only one who can be my deskmate. He wanted to say more, but the principal thought he wasn't being proper and took away his microphone. All right. If there's nothing else to say, hurry back. As soon as the microphone was snatched, Marius immediately refused to cooperate. He directly shouted towards the playground. Tiffany, I swear, I'll be a qualified mistress. Not just qualified but outstanding. If you ever stop liking him, turn around and look at me. From now on, all the money I earn, my heart, and my person will be yours. Tiffany, I like you. The principal's expression was the same as that of the homeroom teacher beside me. Their faces were covered in black lines. I was so embarrassed I could build a castle with my toes. At this moment, the homeroom teacher no longer told me to learn from Marius. After all, in her eyes, Marius had become foolish from too much studying. That's why today's farce had unfolded. As for me, it was an unexpected second wave of heart-fluttering emotions. I watched Marius being ushered off the stage by the principal, then running towards me. My heart raced uncontrollably, until Marius stopped in front of me and handed me the prize he had won. Tiffany, this is for you. Only then did I confirm my heart. Indeed, it was rippling because of him. Marius after coming down. The principal's expression didn't look too good. He impatiently waved towards Lewis and Shirley's position. Then the two of them came up. Next, the principal said, today, besides praise, there's one important matter to discuss. The college entrance exam is like 1,000 troops and horses crossing a single log bridge. Everyone is pushing forward with all their might, and no one dares to slack off. But these two students, one used to be first in class, the other second. So why have they now fallen behind to beyond 50th place in the entire school? The more he spoke, the angrier he became, until the principal dragged Lewis under the microphone. Come on, say it yourselves. At that moment, the barrage of comments appeared before my eyes. The comments said, sigh. Both the male and female leads chose to avoid each other by not attending their original school. Instead, they tacitly agreed to let the other attend a better university while they themselves would go to an ordinary one. So they deliberately underperformed. Unfortunately, they ended up having the same idea. Moreover, it seems they both changed their applications to University A, which even alarmed the principal. Of course the principal would be furious. Two promising students ruined just like that. Look at the female lead's belly. Doesn't it seem a bit big? Could she be pregnant? Prompted by the bullet comments, I also looked at Shirley's belly. Indeed, it's much rounder than before. But I didn't want to pay attention to them anymore. Since the person I wanted to see had already finished speaking, I picked up my vocabulary book to study a few words. At that moment, Lewis spoke up. I'm sorry, I had a puppy love. The person I liked transferred schools, and I lost the motivation to study. So my grades dropped. My eyes widened in shock. I was used as a scapegoat again. But the next second, the principal's hand landed on Lewis's head. Speak properly. With your grades, a mere puppy love wouldn't drag you from first place to 58th. What's the real reason? Speak for yourself. Lewis, under pressure, told the truth. I'm sorry, I controlled my scores. The principal, somewhat satisfied, continued to scold. Why are you controlling your scores? What exactly are you trying to do? Do you really not care about your grades at all? Lewis glanced at Shirley and then spoke. The person I like can only get into University A, so I want to be with her. This time, the principal was so angry that smoke seemed to be coming out of his nose. Come on, tell me, who is the person you like, and just how bad are their grades? Lewis pointed at me. Tiffany. Now, I became the center of attention, the one who had been playing with my hair behind me. Marius instantly perked up. Combining Marius's remarks from the first half of the event, everyone immediately understood the dynamics between the three of us. They all eagerly watched the drama unfold, laughing at us, just as the situation was spiraling out of control, until my homeroom teacher walked over, took the microphone, and said, Sorry, Tiffany has excellent grades, ranking in the top 3 at our school. She won't be going to University A, and she has already applied to a university in the north. Please don't invite gossip for Tiffany. Respect the college entrance exam, and don't underestimate your classmates. After saying this, the homeroom teacher stepped down. Just as the homeroom teacher stepped down from the platform, Shirley suddenly retched. The situation spiraled out of control once again. On the way home, Lewis stopped me. Aren't you supposed to go to University A? He looked puzzled. I said, with grades this good, why should I go to University A? Not only will I attend the best school, but I'll also study abroad and travel across the country. I want to live a remarkable life. What can you even do at University A? Seeing my ambition, he softened his tone and continued to manipulate me. If you go to University A, we can see each other every day. We can start a campus romance. I'll walk you back to your dorm, take you to the movies, and we can even go hiking on weekends. Just think about it. Aren't you looking forward to scenes like that? I sneered in response. The scene he described must be something he did with Shirley in his past life. What does it mean to show it to me now? Does he want me to replace Shirley and accompany him in this lifetime? Ridiculous. I was about to leave when he suddenly called my name. I turned to look at him. Lewis was different from the boy I remembered. He is complex, full of contradictions, hard to see clearly, not as clear as he once was. He said, if it weren't for Shirley, we might have been together smoothly. The path with her is too difficult to walk. Walking with you might be simpler and easier. I have nothing to say. Yet the barrage comments are sympathizing with the boy before me. The male lead looks so tormented. He must feel utterly helpless, unable to follow the female lead through the earlier plot. And now his childhood friend is putting him in such a difficult position. What should he do? Yeah, my heart aches for our poor male lead. Why does nothing ever go his way? Childhood friend. Enough with your hard-to-get act already. Go hug our male lead right now. Besides, the male lead truly loved his childhood friend properly in this lifetime. It's just that he struggled to detach from his past life emotions, which made him seem less affectionate. But if you compare his attitude toward her between the previous life and this one, it's improved tremendously. Okay, the childhood friend should know better than to be ungrateful. Is that so? I really didn't notice Lewis's changes toward me. All I know is that Lewis's eyes have always been on Shirley from start to finish. Until the barrage comments said again. The male lead made the female lead abort their child for the sake of his childhood sweetheart. That's right. The male lead said he was afraid his childhood sweetheart would mind. So he heartlessly made the female lead abort their first child. But the female lead refused. And they had a huge fight. She even threatened to kill herself if he kept pressuring her. In the end, the male lead had no choice but to let her keep the baby. For me. Are you kidding me? Stop always bringing me into this. Okay. Clearly, it was the two of them who couldn't resist and ate the forbidden fruit at this critical moment, resulting in pregnancy. Whether they decide to keep it or not, it has absolutely nothing to do with me. Why does it sound like I'm being arrogant and unreasonable? Ugh, I really don't have the energy to deal with them anymore. There's a pile of test papers in my backpack waiting to be done. I've already told my mom no one is allowed to disturb me before the college entrance exams. To prevent Lewis from blocking me, I had my mom pick me up and drop me off at school every day. As for Marius, my mom acted as a courier, delivering his letters and snacks to me. Everyone was intercepted, except Shirley was forgotten. The first time she came looking for me, in my memory, she never spoke to me. From high school onwards, Shirley had her heart set on Lewis. Even though everyone said I was Lewis's childhood sweetheart, with deep feelings between us, but Shirley still chased after Lewis as always. Probably she didn't take me seriously, so she never considered me as a love rival. In her eyes, the only love rivals were either the most beautiful school belle in our high school or the most flamboyant, bad girl in our class. As for me, the childhood friend who was most likely to develop a romantic relationship with Lewis, she never paid any attention to. I remember once during morning exercises, she mentioned me to someone else. The tone was disdainful and cold. Tiffany, the one who grew up with Lewis, is average looking, average in studies, comes from an average family, and has a personality that's utterly dull. Lewis, such an outstanding guy, wouldn't be interested in her. I don't need to see her as a rival at all. Besides, Lewis has said that he hates being ordinary the most. His life should be full of ups and downs, even if it's tough and difficult. He doesn't want a life that's predictable from the start. I forced a bitter smile, pretending not to hear, and continued to bring water to Lewis. And now, Shirley has come to me. She actually wants to push me towards Lewis. She said, "Tiffany, just go to University A with Lewis. Even if he doesn't love you, he will definitely treat you well. He's a good guy." I shook my head, resolute. "I'm not going to University A." Shirley grew somewhat impatient, supporting her lower back as she walked to my other side. "Tiffany, stop fooling around. Didn't you like him the most? Wasn't attending the same university as him your dream?" I snorted coldly. That was indeed the case before, but not anymore. Now or in the future. I've said it before. I won't like Lewis anymore. There will be no trace of him in my life from now on. If you like him, then go to the same school as him. If you don't, then choose another one. There are so many universities in the world. You can always find the right one. There's no need to degrade yourself and waste time at a school with no future. And also, I'm not some NPC between the two of you. Stop using me as a shield all the time. Okay, I have my own life too. With that said, I was about to leave, but Shirley suddenly went crazy. The barrage comments were startled before I was. They said, "Oh no. The female lead is about to jump into the river. I can't believe it. Childhood friend, what's wrong with going to University A? Isn't your dream life to be with the male lead? What are you pretending for now? Oh my god. The female lead in the previous life jumped into this very river. I'm traumatized. Why? Is this torturing them or me? Please don't jump. It's so smelly. Childhood friend. Oh childhood friend. What on earth are you doing? Standing there dumbfounded. Hurry up and save her. It's a matter of 2 lives. Seeing them urge me, I still didn't move. Since Shirley didn't die in the previous life and was saved by Lewis, in this life, she might not necessarily die. And Lewis, I could see his figure from far away. He's been tailing me for an hour, following me so closely today. He probably guessed that Shirley would come to beg me. If she gets too emotional, it's the perfect chance for Lewis to play the hero again. Sure enough, Shirley was pulled back by Lewis. She cried and hid in Lewis's arms, saying, "Lewis, I don't know what to do. She doesn't want to go to University A. Since she won't go, then I'll go. You and Tiffany can head north. Stay together and don't worry about me." Lewis was also on the verge of collapse at this moment. He held Shirley tightly, his eyes bloodshot, and said through gritted teeth, "Then let's fight fate to the end." It's unclear what Lewis and Shirley discussed. There was less than a month left before the college entrance exams. They skipped class instead. I heard the two of them went wild outside school, playing at arcades and gaming centers without a care. Their presence was everywhere. The principal and teachers were so angry they made home visits. But these 2 former top students paid no attention at all and continued to have a great time playing around. The barrage comments said, "The male and female leads promised to go to University together. They're finally not avoiding each other anymore." I was almost getting heart palpitations watching them, one pretending not to know the other pretending not to love, always dodging each other. Now it's finally good. Their love is declared to the world. Those who ship them are blessed. Yeah, the male lead said, when it's time for the college entrance exams, they'll control their scores, skip a few major questions, take a few naps, and getting into University A will be a breeze. They even made plans to travel together after the exams. Just like in their past life, they'll stay in the region for a month, and those memories are really beautiful. So sweet. It's just a shame that University A isn't a particularly prestigious school. They might have a hard time finding jobs in the future. I'm worried for them. Don't worry. Upstairs. Did you forget the male lead is reincarnated? He has memories from his past life, so there's no need to fret about finding a job. Besides, University A's computer science department is quite well known. It's perfect for the male lead to learn something new. With his brain, developing even more impressive software wouldn't be a problem. That way, the female lead won't have to suffer with him for years. All right. They're finally together. Sweet novels are much more fun to read. The earlier chapters nearly broke my heart. I calmly watched the barrage of comments before me. Yet my heart was filled with indescribable complexity. Actually, I'm quite grateful for them. If it weren't for them, perhaps I wouldn't have run when Lewis and I entered the alley. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have realized so quickly that the person I liked was a scumbag. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have discovered Marius's adorable and amusing side. Fortunately, there's still time. They appeared at just the right moment. After the college entrance exams ended, the two who had passionately vowed to go to university together. Suddenly, one of them changed their mind. During the exam days, Shirley was practically sleeping through every session. Yet, Lewis was unusually diligent. He sat in front of me, racking his brains, more serious than ever. When the final session ended, Shirley looked at Lewis with joy. Her eyes filled with tenderness. Lewis, we're at the same school again. This time, let's love each other even more. Okay. After she finished speaking, Lewis hesitated. Shirley felt a pang of panic and said, Lewis, what's wrong with you? Lewis looked at him affectionately and said, Shirley, do you still remember? In my past life, I had one regret. Top scorer in the college entrance exam. Shirley knew it like the back of her hand, let out a light laugh, and her expression instantly turned cold. Shirley, I regret not being the top scorer in the college entrance exam in my previous life. Can't you just fulfill this wish for me? Don't worry, even if we're not at the same school, I'll still treat you as the female lead in this life. How about we try a long-distance relationship this time? Shirley said nothing more. She turned and left. Forget it. Let's just consider it a missed opportunity. We shouldn't meet again. I stood in the shade watching the scene when suddenly someone tapped me on the shoulder. Then, after a long absence, Marius appeared before me. He handed me an ice cream and said, How did the exam go, little desk mate? If you didn't do well, you can come work with me at the factory tightening screws. The bullet comments say that in our past life, Marius did indeed work at the factory tightening screws. It was only later, seeing how hard I was struggling, that he decided to start his own business to give me a better life. It's a pity that I was blind, completely focused on Lewis and utterly oblivious to his deep affection. But this time is different. Now I see how much he loves me. From now on, I'll learn how to love him in return. After all, someone has had their heart set on me since high school. Even for my sake. He didn't even get married. The big house, the luxury car, all were given to me alone. What reason did I have not to stay with him? I looked at Marius and said playfully, I'm not going to the factory with you to screw bolts. I want to be with you for a lifetime. Live in your mansion. Drive your luxury car. Will you let me? As I finished speaking, Marius was completely stunned. Drool from the half-eaten ice cream dripped down, as messy as ever. I couldn't help but worry. Could someone like this really become a great entrepreneur in the future? Well, who cares if he becomes a great entrepreneur or not? I'm definitely following. Lewis is this year's top science student. His dream has come true. On the day he hosted a banquet, Shirley also showed up. Her belly looks like she's about to give birth soon. So big that walking seems difficult for her. Lewis didn't go up to help her. Saving face. He just pointed from a distance at Shirley's chair in front of her. Have a seat. His tone was extremely cold. Shirley ignored him and walked straight up to him, asking a question. Lewis, you never actually intended to go to the same school as me, did you? Then, Shirley looked at him painfully and continued. You didn't even want to start over with me. You said you wouldn't go through the pain of the past life again, that you'd avoid me at every turn, and then you really pushed me far away. You deliberately tricked me into going to University A while you went up north. So we'd truly never see each other again. Long-distance relationships are all lies. You just don't love me anymore. Lewis, you're so cruel. After saying this, Shirley burst into tears. Yet Lewis remained indifferent. Since the matter is already settled, stop dwelling on it. I'll do my best to win Tiffany's heart, and we'll live a good life together. You should start planning your own life properly too. Humph. Shirley felt her heart grow cold, but she still wanted to salvage the situation, so she asked another question. Are you still bothered that I'm not pure? As soon as these words were spoken, Lewis suddenly laughed. Why would that matter at all? Whether it's your first or second time, what does it have to do with me? It's not me who's marrying you in this life. You should ask that to the person who's going to marry you in the future. I was shocked by Lewis's heartlessness, as were the barrage of comments before my eyes. No way. How can the male lead be like this? What on earth is going on? What's he trying to do? Could it be that he's got cancer and is dying? So he's deliberately pushing the female lead away. Damn. The male lead's change is really hard to figure out. The female lead is about to give birth, and he pulls this stunt. That can't be good. I'm speechless. Whatever. I'll just watch Marius devour his food. Wait for me upstairs. I'm going to watch Marius eat too. He's such a glutton. Finished a whole roast goose, 2 mouth-watering chickens, and 3 pounds of beef. Impressive. Shirley gave birth. It's a boy. Similarly, he was born with a heart condition. The comments are all saying it must be her and Louis's child from a past life. But Louis said there was no family history of heart disease in their household. But the punk who had previously tainted Shirley and the punk's father both had heart conditions. The recent funeral was held for that punk. Cause of death: heart disease. He then speculated that Shirley's unborn child was that little punk's. That's why he rejected Shirley. He even resented his past self for raising another man's child for several years in vain. Moreover, Shirley had suffered from depression early on, which worsened after giving birth. So, on a night when she couldn't figure it out, she jumped off the building directly. Louis showed no signs of anything unusual. He was determined to pursue me. He even said we'd attend the same university in the future. We dated for 4 years before getting married. Then one starts a business. The other manages the household. What a perfect life this is. Stop making me think about it anymore. I have nothing to say. But my boyfriend does. He specifically took 2 months of taekwondo lessons just to beat up Louis. Louis ended up hospitalized from the beating. Even the day before school started, he was still on crutches. But what prevented him from reporting to school wasn't just the crutches. It was also the school's expulsion notice. As for why they wanted to expel him, first, they discovered that his college entrance exam answers were almost identical to the standard answers, even down to the punctuation marks, leading the school to suspect him of cheating. But there is no definitive evidence. Second, there was a letter accusing him, written by Shirley before her death, stating that Louis had driven her and the child in her womb to their deaths. The severity of the incident drew widespread public attention, leaving the school with no choice but to issue a notice of expulsion. After being expelled, Louis was not accepted by any other universities. After all, the scandal between him and Shirley had become too notorious. A 17-year-old girl became pregnant, gave birth, suffered from depression, and jumped off a building. Any one of these alone would be enough to draw social attention. Not to mention Shirley experienced all of them. She even named Louis as the father of her child. And it was also Louis who drove her to her death. So, no school dared to accept him. And Louis' parents were too ashamed to face anyone. So the whole family moved to the countryside with him. Before leaving, Louis asked his mother to give me his diary. When I opened it, it was densely filled with notes about my preferences and study habits. He took more meticulous notes than I did. In addition to written records, he also created a weekly schedule for me in table form. No wonder I kept running into him every time I changed locations. So he's been keeping such a close eye on me. One might really think he had feelings for me. And on the last page of his diary, there was indeed a sentence that seemed to suggest he once liked me. Tiffany, in your previous life, I saw you lonely all your life. And it broke my heart. In this life, let me accompany you. Okay. I was totally cringed. But the next second, that diary was snatched away by Marius. He was so simple-minded that he tore it up and ate it right in front of me. I was both terrified and dying of laughter. How could there be such an adorable person? But I still immediately dug out those paper scraps from his mouth. Then he mocked. What are you so jealous about? That kind of scumbag. I'll never like him again in this lifetime. Marius heard my words and became smug. My neck felt like an elevator. At that moment, the long-absent barrage of comments suddenly reappeared. Oh my god. I totally misread this novel. Tiffany and Marius are actually the main characters. Seems like a light-hearted romantic comedy about unrequited love, where the male lead Marius wins over the sensitive and timid female lead Tiffany with his witty humor. This novel has a 9.9 rating, and even a famous director adapted it into a TV series. I can't believe it. I told you so. How could the male lead possibly be that kind of scumbag? This is totally misleading minors. I awkwardly chuckled, then continued picking Marius's mouth for paper scraps. Years later, Marius truly became a great entrepreneur. I got to study abroad as I wished and now work in translation, which I love. In the second year after we got married, we were invited to a class reunion. That day, Marius kept putting food on my plate while talking about his business ventures over the years. He even turned down old classmates who came to toast me. Someone asked him why I couldn't drink. He seemed to puff up with pride, pointing at his own belly. My wife, she's pregnant. Ha ha ha. He looked extremely pleased, even happier than when his company went public. Then, halfway through the meal, someone suddenly brought up the former top scorer in the college entrance exams, Lewis. Lewis, what a waste. I didn't know how to do it online before, but I ended up stealing commercial secrets from a big company and got caught. Sentenced to 5 years. After getting out, he didn't change his ways and turned to hacking. Using his computer skills, he cracked the bank's security locks. Damn, he's still locked up now. Probably won't be out for another decade or so. Humph. Lewis is so arrogant, always thinking he's above everyone else and trying to make quick money. Pfft. Relying on his smarts. He doesn't even care about the law. And back then, with Shirley, I couldn't even stand pretending to know him. What a scumbag. That's no way to live. Exactly. At first, you couldn't tell at all. He looked so clean-cut. Who knew his heart could be so cruel? Everyone was chattering away, as if forgetting that Lewis and I had once crossed paths. But as time passed, it's understandable that people wouldn't remember. After all, now when people mention me, I'm known as a translator Tiffany, the most beautiful international student, a career-driven woman, and also Mrs. He. As the atmosphere was heating up, Marius suddenly patted me on the shoulder, signaling for me to follow him outside. He's always been the best at this kind of thing. Whether it's blue fireworks, drone confessions, or yacht parties. This time, I wonder what little surprise he's come up with to make me happy. But I still followed him out, unable to suppress the smile on my lips. When we reached the underground garage, Marius suddenly pushed me into a corner. Pouting, he said, "Wife, give me a kiss. I'm jealous." I burst out laughing and said, "Is that all? I thought you had prepared some big surprise for me." Marius said with his legs crossed, "Give me a kiss, and I'll show you the surprise." Helplessly, I could only gently tap his cheek. He instantly reacted as if electrocuted, first breaking into a breakdance. Then he opened the trunk. Upon seeing the surprise in the trunk, the tears in my eyes suddenly flowed uncontrollably. It turned out to be a puppy. My eyes instantly reddened. He's always like this. The surprises it brings me are sometimes solemn, sometimes romantic, though it can't compare to blue fireworks and giant cruise ships. But he truly remembers every word I say. Marius. He really knows how to love someone. What male lead or female lead, I don't care at all. Even if I'm really just a cannon fodder character, as long as there's Marius, then I'm willing to forever remain just a supporting role.